Now I'd love your calls on this. Have you had enough of Boris Johnson? 0207 862 2222 is the number. At least 40,000 people have bought the book, right? This is a very good first week, isn't it? 42,000. That's the number of copies the former Prime Minister's memoir, Unleashed, has sold in 7 days. Therefore, it is the number one hardback bestseller. Here are some of the most eye-catching quotes and revelations in the book. Let's just have a look here. So, I'll go through them. You'll enjoy this, actually. Here's one. These are all just dotted around. This is where he says, I had to give Harri a kind of manly pep talk. And this was about trying to persuade him not to go to America. This one here is where he has this furious row with Cameron. He's talking about writing an article supporting Brexit. Cameron says, this is not about articles. It's about the future of the country. And then Boris Johnson says, I'm still thinking of voting leave. Cameron says, if you do that, and these were his words, I will F you up forever. All those are strong words. Right, another one for you. This is his regrets over the Partygate. And he says, I should have been far more robust at the outset. I tried to diffuse public anger by pathetic apologies. No one would disagree with that. Then we have Starmer. Starmer looks at me with a puzzled face, like a bullock having a thermometer unexpectedly shoved in its rectum. There's always a bottom in there somewhere. Now we have, to me, this is the story that's just hilarious. Because the vaccines we ordered were stuck because of some import nonsense during COVID in the Netherlands, and he was thinking of using the special boat service to launch a raid on Holland, which would have been effectively a declaration of war on another NATO member. Obviously, the idea didn't have wheels. And then one more. This is okay. Two more involving my friend here. All right. So this is, as we got closer to Islington, I could feel my tension rising. It was gone 5:30. This is him talking about Brexit. I had my friend, this is you, Guto, and former spin doctor Guto Harri on the mobile. He was in a state of high emotion. You're effectively begging him not to say Brexit is the best for Britain.
Yeah, I tried to talk him out of it.
And he said he needed to, he says he'd had left City Hall free. He was in a state of high emotion. He left City Hall because he needed to charge the family coffers. And we remained close. He was harrying. You were harrying him. There we go. He's Harry and Harry.
I warned him it would be bad for the country and bad for him. And,
okay.
You were right.
I was right.
Last one here. He was the official Tory candidate. He cycled down to City Hall to make my announcement. This is him standing for Mayor of London. There was a mob of reporters and hecklers. The BBC man was Guto Harri. And Guto says, this is the joke, isn't it? And A, he gets it, and then B, you work for him. It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he was at the time, hard for people to imagine now. He was very liked. He was like a national treasure, but people didn't see him seriously as a politician. But he became, as mayor, a very, very serious and accomplished and remained popular as a politician.
Well, listen, I mean, you can't argue. A Conservative winning London is no mean feat. It is a Labour city. So that was the sign that he's very electable. It probably still is. So you can look at the book sales. I'm going to show you now a little graphic where we compare former Prime Minister's book sales, just in the screen over here. Let's bring it on. OK, we may not have it. Here we go. Right. So here they are. Run the graphic, please. Here we go. Let's see. So Thatcher, Cameron, Blair, Johnson, Theresa May. Let's zero in. So the Downing Street years. That was called, for the record, A Journey, Unleashed, and the Abuse of Power. And hang on a minute. It says you've missed, what is this? You've missed someone out? Hang on, former Prime Minister's memoirs. I can't think. The Great Truss, of course. And you've taken a rather prominent position there, Miss Truss, but it's worth saying, yes, there is a former Prime Minister, albeit for only 49 days, who wrote a memoir called 10 Years to Save the West. So let's put her on the shelf there. OK, now we bring up the sales figures for the first week. And I want you to have a look at them from 120,000 to 2,200 and tell me which books they are attributed to. Who does 120,000 go to, do you think? Watching at home. Who would you put that to? I will show you. Let's move it and you'll see that it goes to Mrs. T. OK, now the next one. 92 is Blair. 42, I've mentioned, is Boris. 20,000, who gets there? David Cameron is 20,000 in his first week, not bad. Theresa May, very poor, 3,500. I don't know where that one goes. The last one is 2,000. Hang on, oh dear. Okay, so Liz Truss is 2,228. You might say, well, actually, I'm going to give a point in favour of Liz Truss here, okay? If we say, look, the longer you are in power, the more cells you're going to make in the first week, then Thatcher actually, arguably, has fewer than Liz Truss. That's how crazy it's to do. Because if you're only in power for 49 days and you sell 2,000, if Truss had been in power for 11 and a half years, she might have sold 11 million books in her first week. I'm just saying. Stats can be manipulated. Now, as to Boris, obviously he's entertaining. Do you feel you've been entertained enough now?
Yeah, he never entertained me. He swung at me a lot, and
he must have entertained you.
No, he didn't. I didn't find him at all entertaining. He was meant to be running the country.
Well, when he was presenting "Have I Got News for You"?
Well, never have I
Really?
found him. No, never have I found him entertaining. Nauseating, never entertaining, and I had enough of him way back.
Okay.
Don't need him anymore.
Guto, should he just butt out now?
No, he's got a big story to tell. It's not just a story of time in number 10, though that actually was the insight from a guy who was at the helm during war, during COVID, during cost of living crisis and all that. But there's 20 years where he's been a central figure in London.
This is
Olympics,
you. We can see you on the plane. Air
Oh,
Force
I remember
Liz
that.
Truss?
Yeah.
With Liz Truss, actually, yeah.
Yeah, she was Foreign Secretary and he was Prime Minister at the time.
Was that a great period? For
Yeah. Happy days. Tough job, I have to say. But
Yeah.
what is striking about the book, there's great humour, but there's great humility. And he's terribly sort of well-read and well-informed and thoughtful and intelligent, which a lot of politicians are not.
I can't, maybe, Carolyn, you might wonder about this as well. He wanted the job. There's no doubt. And so in certain life, you've got to take, whoever you are, even if you're a comedian, you've got to take something seriously. He gets the job and he throws it away.
Yeah.
And it was totally his doing. He made so many self-inflicted errors. I don't understand the psychology of that. What is that? I don't get it. Why would he throw it away?
When you read the book, you can just see that had Boris not been shafted, frankly, by Michael Gove and had become Prime Minister instead of Theresa May, there would have been, an immediate attempt to deliver a sort of meaningful Brexit. I never wanted Brexit, but if you're going to have it, you might as well have the proper, fully cooked version of it, not what Theresa May tried to do. He'd have also had a good run before we were hit by a global pandemic. And what is clear from the track record that he has in London and what he believes in elsewhere is he would have launched a massive investment programme in infrastructure in the UK because he believes in that. He's passionate about it. He's passionate about levelling up.
Well, arguably everyone who was in power during COVID, Trump is another one, got knocked out of office by the virus. You could argue that. Patty's in Cheshire. Patty, is it time for Boris Johnson to pipe down?
Yes, definitely yes. I can't believe that he's sold as many as he has, and we're living in a morally bankrupt country.
And I gather you think he should be in the Tower of London?
I do. And I think now what he's done in his book, I've only heard about excerpts, that he said about the Queen is dreadful. It was bad enough that he was partying while she was sat in at her husband's funeral on her own, and I think he is an absolute disgrace.
Okay, Pat, thank you. Yeah, the Partygate thing is still with us, isn't it? There's still really a kind of cloud over his time in office. John in Durham. John, do you think it's time for him to pipe down or shut up?
Certainly not. Boris was one of the best MPs we ever had. He did his best. He was let down when Rishi Sunak and his mates put the pressure on to get him out. They wouldn't let him do what he wanted. He has tried his best. Part of the Partygate, we now read people's books, was set up to get him out. And part of getting rid of him was not Boris, it was actually Rishi Sunak and his mates who wanted to get in the cabinet that got him away.
Yes, that's true, the mass resignations, yeah. John, thank you. Joe in Sheffield, what do you think?
Oh, hello, morning all.
Hello, Joe.
Joe Jeremy, I have to chastise you a little bit. Entertaining? No, Carolyn was right. Nauseating.
But that suggests you didn't laugh during Have I Got News for You? You didn't laugh at any of his articles?
I laughed at his sister, Rachel, when she was on Have I Got News for You, because she actually comes across as being quite warm and semi-normal. But anyway, I think he's an embarrassment, and why he's considered charismatic, I have no idea when he can't string a sentence together without going, He's shambolic in appearance, he's ridiculously posh. People won't forget Partygate, and what Pat from Cheshire just said about, I'm not a royalist in the slightest, but what she said about the image of the Queen at her husband's funeral when the day that one of the parties was going on, people are not going to forget.
Well, it's always quite a good test to say which prime ministers would have allowed that party thing to happen, and Gordon Brown wouldn't, Thatcher wouldn't, everyone would have been fired.
And nobody ever mentions it, but Boris was not in number 10 that night.
But he has to sack everyone
He was 50
involved.
miles away. Do you know what's going on upstairs in the canteen
Doesn't
at
matter.
the moment?
He's running the country.
He was 50 miles away.
Doesn't matter.
Backstop.
And all the police on duty failed as well on that night. OK, look, we could talk forever. Doubtless we will talk about Boris Johnson again. I bet you're looking forward to that, Karen. OK, anyway, after the break.